All right, what's going on, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another episode of Unlocking Excellence with your main man, Eric Schwefel. I hope that you're having a great day today. It's been a little while. Welcome back to the podcast. I have a special guest today, one of my now former clients of NLP, because she finished the program. Lauren is joining us today. Lauren, how are you doing today?
I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm doing pretty great. Thank you for asking. So, y'all, today we are going to talk with Lauren about her experience with the program. But before we get started and diving right into this, if you're listening to this podcast, that means you're listening to Unlocking Excellence, where we give you tips and tricks and the keys to unlocking the doors to greater outcomes and results in your life. And today, Lauren chose to take an even deeper path, right? Not just listening to the podcast, but going through the program. And I'm excited to talk about her journey and for her to talk about her journey with us today. So, Lauren, I think, first met a little while ago. You came to the gym. It was for a short period of time. And then life, everything like that. Then we got together recently, a couple of months ago. I think it was gym thing first, and then from there we were like, let's go mindset, and you dove straight into it, and what a heck of a journey, right? And now we're
Yep.
here, we're at the end, we're finished out. So let's go. So tell us about that. What was the oh my goodness, can't even get my words. The right at the beginning. What did you want to do? What were you struggling with? Why did you come see me at the gym?
Um, so one of your gym members, who's been with you for a while is a friend of mine. And I would just talk to her about stuff, and she always would tell me about your gym. And I went with her that one time, about a year and a half ago, and then I came back for a couple of workouts in July.
Yes.
And she started telling me about the NLP coaching. Um, I was just in a place where I'd had a lot of things go on, and I just I'm actually a counselor, and
Okay.
traditional counseling was not enough. It wasn't working. And so my friend was like, "You need to try NLP. You need to do it with Eric. He when he was training, he practiced on me. It's amazing, blah blah blah." And I was at that rock bottom point where I'm like, I have to do something because I'm not in a good place.
Right.
I'd had multiple family members die, five to be exact, in a short period of time. Um, just so many things, and I couldn't see the light at the end of the tunnel. And I was like, yes, I'm gonna try it. And it's been amazing. Like, I just don't even know. It has helped me address things that years of counseling have not touched.
Mm,
It's not like you and I sat and talked about my problems, because that's not what NLP is, but it addresses those things at the same time. And it's just pretty amazing. Like, it's an amazing process journey. Um, it's just awesome. I am different. I am more of the person that I want to be than I have been in 8 years.
mm, mm.
Yeah.
I can't. Oh man. See, for the longest time, I've tried, I think, too broad of an approach to describe what's possible, right? The results and the outcomes, because it is so vast. But that was just so awesome. So thank you. I appreciate it. And it's true, right? I can't wait to unpack everything that you mentioned. So you were in a pretty low place
Mm-hmm.
whenever we started. You tried a bunch of different things. You're a traditional counselor yourself. A friend told you about it. We dove straight in it, right?
Mm-hmm.
What did you really know about NLP, the process, and the thing too is I'd like to include myself in this mindset stuff because NLP is great, right? But each practitioner is different. So
Right.
that can definitely skew one's perception on NLP, the processes used and the strategies. So did you know anything about this? What was your thinking going into it?
Um, so I didn't know a whole lot about it. I just knew it was about connecting you to your unconscious mind and getting rid of those things that are blocking you.
Yeah.
Um, and I had always felt like that's where I needed to go. That's what I needed, but I didn't know how to get there myself. So I sort of went in on blind faith in a way because I didn't really know much about the process. I just knew that I needed something different.
Yeah.
And honestly, I would when you said unconscious mind, I was kind of hooked because really that's where that's where a lot of our change has to happen. And it's really hard to get to that place.
So
And coaching the coaching gets you there. Now, I think that coaching is similar to counseling in the fact that you have to like your coach in order for it to be successful. There has to be a relationship there.
yeah,
Just like if you
absolutely.
go to a therapist and you're like, I don't know about that person. It's
Right.
the same concept, and you and I jived really well.
Right.
And I felt very supported by you. Um, and you called me out when I need you to be like, no, Lauren, let me tell you, blah blah blah, and that's a good thing because that's how you recognize your patterns and your and things like that. Now, do I think I'm perfect? No. Do I think I may come back and do like the next level at some point? Yeah, I do.
Yeah.
But I think that I just think my life has changed.
Right. Mm. Mm. Thank you for that. Boom. High five real quick. Um, so that's awesome. So that's such and it was in really when you look at the grand scheme of things, such a small period of time, right? What, 3 or 4 months, I think. And there was some times where we had to extend, so what, maybe 5 to 6 month period total. Um,
We started at the end of July and we finished up in like early December.
yeah,
So like 4 months.
yeah, right around there, right around there. Yeah, I
Mm-hmm.
know we had 16 calls total over that time. Um,
Right.
so you took a leap. You knew that you needed something. Traditional counseling wasn't working. You needed to get to the unconscious mind. You didn't know how to get there. How did you know that you needed to get to the unconscious mind?
Well, I'm very intuitive and I'm very empathic, and I sort of have like a sixth sense. I don't really like to talk about it because it sounds like hokey and woo woo and all that stuff, but
That stuff. That's so welcome here.
I know, and that's one reason why it works for me. Um, but um, it it just I knew I was stuck, and I could feel because I'm empathic and intuitive. I could feel my energy blockage, and I knew it was what I needed, that next level.
Got it. Got it. Got it. Yep.
Mhm.
Once you start diving deeper within, it becomes more apparent about what's going on without, that's for sure. Um,
Yep.
so okay, so you dove in. Was there any reservation, hesitation? What were your calculations in going into this?
Um, Honestly, my only hesitation was if I could afford it or not.
Yeah,
Um, as far as like the actual coaching, there was none.
right.
Um, but I'll be honest with you, that the money that I paid you is not comparable to what I gained.
Mm, yes.
You know,
Mm-hmm.
and you become more like a friend.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, and it just was worth it. It was.
Awesome. Thank you I appreciate it.
Mm-hmm.
Good. So you're in it. We're diving in. What are some of the breakthroughs and insights? There are really no expectations on this. You haven't done it before. We sit down, we talk one to one if we're able to, right? And the client requests we meet in person, otherwise we meet in Zoom. So, which means that it can be reached all around the country and all around the world, you guys. And so with that, we're meeting. What are your initial insights and breakthroughs?
Um,
Another way to put it, some of your first small wins of what you might be noticing as you're expanding.
I think the biggest one for me was, and it was relatively quickly. Like I want to say like by like session 4, I started to believe in myself.
Say that one more time.
Started to believe in myself.
Mm,
Something that had always been hard for me, that self-love um and that feelings of worthiness. And I started to believe in myself and that I could do that. Like I could um achieve these things that we were setting in place. I think that self-doubt throughout the process would creep in sometimes, but you always found a way to help me get rid of it. Like, um, yeah, like I believe in me, and
mm,
that's and I'm 45 years old, and that's I've spent most of my life not, and so makes me want to cry thinking about it.
mm. If you gotta let them out, you can let them out. No worries, man. So that's not only a relatively quick win, that's a huge win in that time. I mean,
Huge, and it was actually very unexpected. It wasn't. That's not. I thought I was going to be addressing the things that were holding me back, and it was an unexpected outcome from that. Um, and so it's like wow, wow.
unexpected outcome. So what were you coming in expecting from this experience?
I was coming in expecting to just get out of the hole that I was in,
Right.
uh, but I got out of the hole. But I got out of the hole and beyond. Almost went up into space. you know, like I just I was able to put things from my past that I've been holding on to for, 35, 40 years. I was able to let those things go in a way I've never been able to do that before.
Mm,
Like just, I've set goals for myself and I'm working towards those goals.
mm,
Um, and in like big ways, big like, where I am starting my own business now. And I never, well, let me rephrase that because one of the things we worked on was verbiage.
yeah.
I would not have thought it was a possibility prior to this
Mm,
because I didn't think I was worthy. And now I know I am.
mm, mm. That's huge.
Yeah.
That's huge. That's huge. That's huge. We could
Mm.
we could end the interview here, but I don't think, I think there's still more in there. So my goodness. And were these things not only were they expected? What were there any other things that maybe you expected to be worked on uh, other than like you said, the self-worth, the belief, was it more career? Was it anything like that or no? You see what I'm saying?
Initially, that's not. what I came for. It was more about feeling better because, you know, I'm all in the feelings. And, but all of that other stuff falls into place when you start, when you start connecting to your unconscious mind and breaking down those barriers, and then all the, you know, we set goals throughout the process, and all those goals related to health, relationships, career, they started to seem possible. And then they stopped seeming possible, they started seeming probable, and then they started seeming like, I'm doing this, like this is, I can do this. And it's just, it's pretty cool.
So when you do that, right, and you start to notice the unconscious mind, it seems like your attention is almost completely taken off of your initial wants, desires, whatever it is that you want to create. You go and you do something else for a minute or two, and then you come back and the things that you wanted to create are there in a whole new way and more.
Yes. But it's interesting because, okay, here I'm about to get really deep.
About
So,
it.
so you know, like when you connect, you know, because you're a coach and you've done the program yourself, when you connect to your unconscious mind, it's like that. It's also another way of talking about like your higher self, your higher awareness. So they know, they're, it's like a whole different, I don't want to say spiritual level, but it's like your pure self that knows what you're capable of, what your what, that the possibilities are endless, and that they have been trying to guide you, your unconscious mind has been trying to guide you all along. You just didn't know how to listen to it, or you weren't listening to it, or your feelings got in the way, or, you know, negative thought patterns got in the way, or whatever. So then once you connect to that, it like, it's like it takes off, and then you can't stop it, and you're like, whoa, like, okay, wow, you know, and then you get all excited and you just get on the train and keep going.
Mm.
And it wasn't always, you know, easy, and we did talk about hard stuff, you know, but not, it's not, you know, I didn't come in and say, Eric, you know, let me tell you about the time that blah 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 happened. It's not that. It's just a whole different level.
And it's an interesting process too, because I recall in other conversations with other people, there were some sensitive subjects that came up, and we didn't even they didn't even talk about those details of the situations, right? We gave the situation, they gave the situation a name, and then we referred to it by that name, and we were able to resolve it without actually speaking on it. It all just was within the person. So very, very inclusive in the sense of not having to share things that one or a person doesn't want to share, but still being able to receive such a release from whatever it is that was created to hold you back and restrict.
That's exactly right. That's exactly a great description. 100%. You name the incident, you name the thing, and you work through it by releasing it, connecting to your unconscious mind, working with the feelings associated with it, um, but never really speaking of it. And it's actually really powerful, because I feel like when you talk about something too much, it like keeps it in perpetual motion. It keeps it going. It keeps it, you know, it keeps the suffering alive. But when you just name it, address it, release it, and move on, it's like, holy smokes,
There's power in that.
a lot, a lot of power in that.
So we're hitting on so many different things. We've got belief, we've got your self-worth, we've got accomplishing goals, connecting with the unconscious mind. And for the person, that's here with us, that's listening, some of this to some of you might seem a little crazy, right? Like I'm connecting with my unconscious mind, maybe not the belief or the self-worth stuff, but definitely the voice on the inside. Because some people, one, they don't have that voice, which I didn't know because I've got that thinking voice too,
Right.
Um, and so some of it might sound a little bit wonky, but let me tell you, in my experience, we've gotten with I think 10 people this exact same results, which is crazy with myself. And then I'm sure 99.9% of anybody that's gone through the NLP in this coaching process, right? Because there's a system to it. So with that, connecting deeper to yourself, um, what's that become worth to you? What was that like in the initial beginning? Because a lot of times what I've noticed is people have lost that connection within themselves, or it's become so faint and so blurred that they've lost a sense of their identity, right? Whether it be to career, to partner, to life in general, to playing the role. There's so many times where it's like I've heard it, I've become wife, I've become mother, I've become worker, I've become, what's it like connecting with yourself again?
Well, it's invaluable, and a lot of times we don't even realize that connection is lost
Mm, mm,
um until we're at rock bottom. And I knew I was losing that connection with myself every time something would happen. I i didn't know it exactly that way, but I see it that way now, that I lost something every time. I didn't know how to get it back, because I do have that inner voice that speaks to me, and I listen sometimes. um but I listen more now, a lot more now, and I make it a point to listen, to sit and listen. um
good.
so it's invaluable. It really is invaluable.
I love it. And there seems to be such a sense of peace and certainty in that too, right? So being able to acknowledge that peace and that certainty makes a difference.
Yep.
All right. So any other insights or breakthroughs come to mind? I mean, there was a lot that took place in the 16-week, 4 month period of time. What else comes to mind?
um well, another big thing for me is that I've always been a big people pleaser.
Hmm.
I started wanting to please myself more than I wanted to please other people. Meaning, not meaning like I became this horrible bitch, but I just started setting boundaries and listening to what I needed in a situation, not what someone else was needing from me. Um,
That's huge.
it's a big one, you know.
Really.
And at times, I think it's difficult because people still want you to be that people pleaser.
Mhm.
They got a reward from that. And so when you go to make changes, I think sometimes it's easy to get pulled back into it if you're not careful. But because I made that shift within myself, now it's very, very, very uncomfortable when people try to pull me back into it. And I think that it was a direct result of my NLP coaching as well.
And you notice the difference too, right? Like when you're people pleasing, you might notice in the moment, or you might feel that pull. It's not something that you want to do, but you're really going to do it anyway, just because, or so there's kind of that ickiness that goes along with it. And then as you go through the process, you start to become a little bit more aware and then maybe put up a barrier or two. And then what ends up happening is you really start to notice it right off the bat, like, ooh, what's happening? Ooh, I'm not going near that. So now that you're noticing, you're acknowledging, what is your relationship with people pleasing?
Um,
How has it changed? I guess is a
it
better way to put it.
it's very uncomfortable now. It's very uncomfortable. Um, I'm more inclined to stay alone by myself with people who I'm comfortable with than to be around people just because um I feel like I should, or I feel like, you know, I I'm like, oh no, 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 I'm not interested in that. Before I would be like, oh, well, I'll go. I don't want to disappoint them or whatever. And now I'm like, yeah, no, I'm sorry. I'm not interested. Like, it's easier to set those boundaries with people. And I also don't feel the need to try to be friends with everybody.
Mm.
You know, I like people, I want to be cordial, but need, I don't need what I needed before.
And do you know what you needed before?
I needed validation from
Mm.
others. I needed to be around all those people because I needed that validation that I'm worthy and that people like me. And now I'm like, I'm just going to be me. If they don't like me, they don't like me. If they like me, they like me. But I'm going to be sitting on my couch rather than put myself in a situation then that I don't feel comfortable in just because I think it's what I should be doing. I mean, not saying that I sit on the couch all the time. I'm just using that as an example. Like,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I get it. Rather than people please, putting yourself in an uncomfortable situation, but not necessarily in the comfort in the way that it's going to help you grow, right? Because when they say you got to grow, you got to come out of your comfort zone. So not necessarily that type of discomfort, but the discomfort in like I'm not doing something aligned with myself. That's why I'm uncomfortable because I'm misaligned at the moment and I'm moving forward in something that I don't want to be moving forward in.
that's exactly right. That's a great way to put it, is that I think, oh, and that's another thing that the coaching has helped me with, is that things that I would say that I wanted in my life weren't really what I really wanted.
Damn.
And
Yeah. Clarification, girl. For real.
yeah, so a lot of times our thoughts and our behaviors and our what we want are very misaligned, and this has helped me get in line. It's helped me say no, this is what I want, this is what I'm going to do,
Mm-hmm.
that kind of thing. um
It's huge.
yeah, and it wasn't anything that I thought the coaching would do for me. Wasn't what I Another thing that I didn't expect, but there it is.
Bada bing, bada boom. And so with that, right, we talked about the sticky situations, meaning, if there's uncomfortable things that come up, you don't have to share those. It's everything that's done within. Is there anything that you would want to share with the listener about the process itself? I want to ask a little bit about that and then see if there are any more breakthroughs or insights that are coming through to mention.
When you say the process itself, explain a little bit more.
So we over the 16 weeks, the 16 calls, we met in person. We talked for about an hour, sometimes a little bit over, depending on whatever the subject matter was in the time. So with that was there anything that you needed to do outside of this? Did it take up your entire life? What was your
Got,
the content of the process? Yeah.
gotcha. So, so no, it doesn't take up your entire life, but it does at the same time in a good way. I don't know if I'm articulating that correctly, but so initially you watch videos along with your sessions, and it's sort of explaining the process, explaining what the unconscious mind is, um, keys to an achievable outcome, like how do you get the results that you want? Because Eric, you are a coach. You're not doing the work for your clients. Your clients, like me, we have to do the work ourselves. So it's when you say, I need you to do this, this, and this before our next session, you need to do that, whether it's goal setting or whether it's watching the video or doing a meditation or just setting a goal for that week. I'm going to exercise this many days. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. You have to do that. The anchoring, like you have to do it in order for the program to work for you.
Mm,
Um, but the thing is that it's such a powerful program that you want to do it because
mm,
it feels so good. Like, I don't know who can say that they went to a therapist, a traditional therapist, and in 4 weeks they felt the way that I felt after 4 weeks of NLP coaching. Like, that's a short period of time, and it just goes to show how powerful it is. So you start to see those results, and you're like, oh yes, I want more of this. And you start following the program, but you have to be consistent, and you have to meet with your coach weekly. I'm old school, so I insisted that we met in person,
yeah.
and it happened to work for both of our schedules. But I do think, people who prefer, online, it would be just as effective. Um, so that it is a process. It's not like I just willy-nilly walk in and you say, oh, how are you feeling today? It's like, no, this is what we're doing today. Okay. I need you to tell me, you know, I forgot how you worded it, what your, not positives, but what have you noticed this week? That's what you would say. What have you noticed this week? And then there's mild, and I hesitate to use this word because there's a huge misconception of what it is, but mild hypnosis that goes along with it, almost like just a deep meditation.
Yeah.
Um, but you assess: are you a visual person or are you a auditory person? And I'm a very visual person, so that really worked for me. That imagery and those meditations and things like that. Um, it's just you work the program, and the program's going to work for you.
Mm.
There was journaling involved. Um, the weekly accountability, um, all of that.
I love it. Thank you.
And the process is easy. It's not rigorous where you're like, oh my gosh, this is consuming all of my time. I can't believe he's asking me to do that. Because what starts happening is you watch the video, which might be 25 minutes, and then you start implementing it. And then, but it flows. It flows. So you don't even know really sometimes that you're implementing it and working the program either. It's that, you know, unconscious, you know?
Yep. 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 Good. 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 So, man, that was good. That was great. That was spot on. Because that's the way that it works, right? It's supposed to flow and it's supposed to go in that way. So good. I'm glad to hear that, and I feel like that is I mean, it just hit the nail on the head. So throughout this process, we've talked, meaning the podcast and with our coaching, you've encountered so many breakthroughs just to recap all those from this conversation: belief in yourself, worthiness, certainty, clarity, reconnecting with yourself, your unconscious mind, deeper aspects of you, able to establish boundaries, saying no, getting back into the flow, not only with yourself, but with others, establishing what it is that you really want, not what others want, and putting yourself in awkward positions for others when you really don't have to, need to, or want to. Any other breakthroughs that I didn't mention or come to mind?
Um, I'm sure there's more. Um, I mean, it's just been life changing all over.
That's
I mean, I've said, well, one more thing is that, my weight, probably since Hurricane Katrina, has fluctuated greatly, um, over the years. And I've always, approached it with the wrong mindset. Like, um, I got to lose weight. I got to look good. I got to do this. I got to do that. And this program has helped me realize that you can't do nothing and obviously expect to be healthy and lose weight, but that it's okay to do it on my terms.
mm,
And so I'm setting goals for myself with that too. Like I signed up for the Crescent City Classic. I, and walking 6.2 miles, I fell through my attic about a year ago, and just different things where I'm not in the best shape that I've been in. And so the thought of having to walk 6.2 miles scared me. But then I was like, you know what? No. Sign up, Lauren. Sign up. Start the training schedule. Just sign up, start the training schedule, you know, just do it. And it's something fun. It's working towards your health goal. It's not about dropping 50 pounds in 6 months, because you know what? I've done that. I've
mm,
done that. And guess what? It always comes right back. It
mm,
taught me about making positive life changes. That's what it's really about.
mm,
Not um not just dropping the weight. And so, I've done that. I've given up soda. I don't eat fast food unless I'm really in a bind.
right.
Um I I I have been walking. I'm finding ways to make exercising fun because I'm not one of those people that loves it. I'm finding a way to exercise in um, different, like I'll come to your gym one day a week. I'll go to my gym that I belong to one day a week. I walk to train for the classic. I signed up for another race, a Christmas race, like that I did. It was 3 miles. Like I'm just finding ways to make it fun that
Mm,
will keep engaged for the long term,
mm,
not looking for a quick fix. And I don't, it's been years. One of my best friends is a trainer, and she's been telling me that for years. But for whatever reason, with NLP, it finally clicked.
mm,
Like, like it finally clicked. So,
mm. I'm so glad to hear that.
and there's no shaming. I would shame, like, oh, you didn't work out today. You ate this, you did that. Oh God, you know, there's none of that anymore.
Mm,
All
mm,
of all of NLP.
mm.
And that loving myself and that making myself a priority and those things. So,
Huge. It's huge. That's huge. And you hit the nail on the head again. I wanted to right before you started speaking on the body and food, let the listener know it's not just mindset stuff. We talked a lot of mindset. It's not just deep internal work. That's what
mm-mm.
we've talked about a lot, and that's a lot of the brunt of it. But where does that lead to, right? This, go ahead.
Oh no, good. No, I'm listening. I'm just
No,
agreeing.
yeah, where does that lead to? Is that internal world, once it's settled, it's still, it's feeling good. You can establish what the priorities are for you. You can establish boundaries. Then you can really start creating what it is that you want. And you went straight into it, right? I mean, years of exercise, different things that happen, falling through the attic. There's like obstacles that get in the way. And then from here, you're able to establish no more obstacles, no more other things, no more whatever. And you're doing it, you're making it happen, you're setting goals for yourself. And you, oh, this was beautiful, was you're finding ways to keep yourself engaged, creative ways to keep yourself engaged. Because if you're just sitting on the hamster wheel, right, then it's going to feel like it's a hamster wheel. If you're not constantly growing and feeding yourself and giving yourself a better ingredients, then you're going to continue to reap and produce the same results. And this kind of gives you that hunger to want to use new ingredients so that you can produce a better product. So that's awesome. So it wasn't just with your body too.
No.
You don't have to go into details of relationships, but I know relationships have been affected. I know work has been affected. So were there any other areas outside of, and please feel free to talk more about relationship with yourself and body and the relationship outside of that too. What other results have you experienced with that?
So you set those goals in the beginning, and it is things with it it's so in the beginning, you ask what areas of your life, what are the top areas of your life that you want to see improve. Um and for me it was health, um relationships, finances, and career. And while you work directly on those things, but it's all connected. It all, like I said, it all flows. So when you start doing the work with the unconscious mind and you start setting the goals for yourself, it's like it's all, the movie Avatar, when they
Yeah.
take their tail and they like click it, they log on to the tree of life or whatever they call it, the mother or whatever. That's what it's like. It's
Mm.
like you're plugging into all of the things, like like I've made a positive career decision. My health is improving. My relationships have with other people have improved. It's all connected.
Yeah. Mm. Mm. Amazing. So, and this is the what I love about this is that there is kind of a hint of woo woo in the sense of everything is connected, right? The kumbaya, uh, maybe perspective that people can take with this, but it really is. It's not just kumbaya. With NLP, a lot of this is great. Yeah, and it worked. That's the most important thing. And so, this is a good question. With this, did you feel compromised at all throughout this process?
No. No.
Hypnosis. Oh, somebody's going to tell me to do something in hypnosis and I'm not going to want to do, all the BS that goes along with that, or counseling, or working with the unconscious mind. It's bad, and anything like that.
No, never felt compromised. It felt liberating.
Mm,
And and the thing is that people need to start realizing, stop. They need to realize that they have biases against things that are holding them back. And so if someone chooses to look at this podcast as woo woo, then that's up to them. But you know, we all have biases that hold us back, you know, and I don't think it's woo woo at all. Um, you're doing work, you're working. It's just all flows, and you're using different tools that help you work. And so when we talk about like, and it's not hypnosis like follow the clock and then you will get up and walk into the street and click your heels 5 times. It's imagery. It's visualize yourself doing blah blah blah. Or imagine if this was gone. What would you see? Or that kind of stuff. And that is essentially what I'm talking about. But I hope no one takes away from this that it's woo woo and sacrilegious or any of that, because it's not. It's not at all.
Good, 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 good. Yes, and these, I think, mainly when I mention that are really old school ways of thought, because 2023, there's some interesting ways of thinking out there, and different and interesting accepted not theologies, but just schools of thought. So um I love it. What else is there to mention? Is there anything else to mention about the process, about breakthroughs, about results, or any of those things experienced?
Um, you know, just that if you're stuck and you're not sure about what to do about it, NLP coaching is the way to go. They should give you a call, at least meet with Eric, find out what it's about. Don't don't just discard it. Talk with him about everything, the process, the basic fundamentals, the foundation of it all, um, and then go from there. Be open minded about it, because it, you know, um, it. I went in hopeful, and now I know that the possibilities are endless.
Mm.
You know, and if you want that for yourself, if you want to change your life, then you should consider the coaching.
And that's a perfect segue into who's this for.
Who is the coaching for?
Yeah, who would you recommend this for?
Anyone.
Mm.
Anyone who anyone who feels like they need a change, anyone who feels like they're struggling, um, but you also have to be willing to work the program.
Damn, you're hitting. I've used this phrase. What I feel is like too much now, but you're doing so great with it, hitting the nail on the head. So I was about to say, what is the best way to get results in this program? So you've got to work the program. Is there any advice to the next person? Say they're listening, they say, I want to sign up and I want to know how to get the best results. Lauren, how do I get the best results?
You show up. You show up every week. You follow the program, and then you show up for yourself. And you listen to what Eric has to say, and you work the program. You open your mind, and the possibilities are endless.
Bada bing, bada boom. And with that too, disciplinarian, you got to do this. It's got to get done. What was the flow like between us?
None of that. And that's always been that's always been a thing for me, is when people are like that with me, I'm like, I shut down.
Right.
And Eric, um, you guide the journey, but it was my journey. And it yeah, you would say, well, Lauren, I'm noticing that, you know, three times now, this, and this. Let's figure that out. What is that about? Um, it's never a do it now, pressure, pressure, pressure. No.
Right.
Because you start seeing those results and it just takes off and then you want it. Like I started craving it. Like if we had to miss a week, I'd be like, oh my God, I still miss it. You know, like, oh, it's been 2 weeks. I need to talk to Eric. We gotta, keep rolling with this. Like it's not a it's not in your face, do it now kind of thing at all.
Good. Awesome. 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 Thank you. I appreciate that. And what else do we got? What else do we got? Is there anything else that you would want to tell the listener um, or want to mention about the experience?
Um, I think I've said a lot. I if you're considering it, make the phone call. Just find out what it's about. Um, and know that you're, as Eric always says, know that you're unstoppable and that you can do anything if you want it. Um, but life changing.
Um, and now, about a month afterwards, have you gone backwards? No, it's
Uh,
a little bit over a month. It's about like 6, 8 weeks. Are you moving, or let me ask you this, this is a better way of saying it. Are you moving forward towards your goals?
yeah, I am.
Um,
I am. I for sure. I mean, I have committed to starting my own business, um, which was one of my, goals. I am still plugging away at my health. Um,
registered for the Crescent City Classic, a race here.
yeah. Um, I miss our weekly meetings
Yeah,
just
absolutely.
because we had such good meetings and but no, I wouldn't say I'm going backwards. Mm-mm.
That's awesome.
No, I'm definitely moving forward.
That's awesome. I would say that too, especially off of what you shared earlier. So that's so awesome. Oh, that's so awesome. I'm so proud of you. You've done so great. Um, the last question. Are you ready for it?
Yeah.
Okay. Wait, it might be the second to last question. Um, but yeah, this is gonna be the second to last question. So anything that you want to say to the listener? I know that comes to mind as far as words from Lauren, feedback, love, advice, whatever.
Um, just that we as humans are full of endless possibilities and we can forget that in the everyday mundane life, the world of the news and going to our careers every day, jobs every day and things like that. But it's really important to keep working on yourself and um, to keep looking for those things that are going to propel you forward. Um, I talked about how it was like 8 years. I feel better than I have in the last 8 years, but in those 8 years, I never stopped looking for what was going to finally help me, achieve my goal. And I found it with NLP. And so I just feel like, if you're looking, then you should give it a shot. Meet with Eric and see if it's something for you. Um, just don't stop looking.
Ooh, I like it. All right, so the last question.
Okay.
If you have the opportunity, Lauren, to have a billboard that's gonna have the eyes of billions of people on it. Billions of people are going to see this billboard. You can put anything that you want, any phrase on there for everyone to see. What would you put on that billboard?
Oh, well, Eric, I don't like putting myself out there like that. So you got to give me a second to think about it. Um,
Absolutely.
if I could do a billboard for the whole world to see, what would I put on it?
Yeah. And look, you can
Um,
not necessarily you going up there and drawing on it, right? But
what would I want it to say?
yeah.
Um, well, it would be red.
Mm.
The background would be red, and it would say one word: love.
Mm. Mm. Boom, just like that. I like it.
Just
Bam. All right. Well, perfect. So with that, that's what I call the title of the podcast. So just like that, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for being here. Lauren, thank you for being here. I appreciate you. I enjoyed the conversation so much. If you're looking to reach out to Lauren to hear about her journey, ask her some questions or anything like that, Lauren, if it's all right, where can they reach you at?
um, I guess through my email. Oh, you want to tell you my email?
I'll have it in the podcast notes, or you can reach out to me and then I'll get Lauren that connection. So with that, ma'am, any closing words?
Love.
Love. All right, y'all, you're unstoppable. Have a great one. Be sure to share this thing out. Thanks for being here and know that you now have the keys to unlocking excellence. We'll talk to you next time. Peace.